Hello, everybody. This is Simply Butch, and this is a show called Butch On Sports, a podcast, a version that is. As always, thanks for tuning in. Doing a podcast after a week off and getting it together here. We doing a Wednesday morning podcast here for your dining and dancing pleasure. Let's get on with some of the sports. Well, the Detroit Tigers are one game out of first place, boys and girls. They beat up on the Cleveland Indians last night. Who'd have thought here? One game out. Of course, Minnesota was ahead of them. We don't know again. I didn't look at the scoreboard, see if Minnesota won or lost, but they're one game out of first place there. That means if they win the game today, though, this afternoon, I should say, the Tigers will be in first place. You know why? Because John Hicks continued his blistering hitting at the plate. And he went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and scored the winning run by walking home by Miller of the Cleveland Indians, and the Tigers win 9-8 over the Cleveland Indians on Tuesday night at Comerica Park. A very long game indeed, but it was good enough for everybody to say hip hip hooray. Now, a lot of the Tigers regulars are out. We'll get to that in a moment. People like Nico Goodrin, who's been making humongous contributions, and all the other rookies indeed who they're bringing up from Toledo. These kids are excited. They are exuberant. They have some feisty spirit in their system. The dugout is loud, and the locker room is exciting. Now, I have said throughout the season, or the beginning of it there, Tigers have played 41 games so far, that they don't lack effort, and I said that religiously there. They do not lack effort at all. They have some flaws with the bullpen, flaws with their starting pitching, but again, and also some big flaws, and that's not a flaw, but it happens. Injuries. Miguel Cabrera, Lenon Martin, Jordan Zimmerman, and Jeremy Candelarreros. Get that name and say it 10 times, boys and girls. I won't say it again. All have injuries. All have injuries. But again, rookies are coming in from Toledo, being called up and doing a yeoman's job. Playing some good baseball, some hustling baseball, some exciting baseball. And guess what, boys and girls? People are coming to Comerica Park to see it. Nice little crowd of 25,000 last night to watch the game at Comerica Park, and one of the bigger crowds of the season. And I won't doubt that this afternoon they'll have an even bigger crowd, because some schools will be kind of getting some rewards and some treats. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Safety Patrol personnel, and a whole lot of other little special treats there. Is a lot of kids will probably be there this afternoon to see the game, along with some adults who will probably skip work. Yours truly could be included in that. But again, playing some good baseball against the Cleveland Indians, who've been beating the slop out of them. But they now have won 2 in a row over this particular team. Our first place team in the Central Division is under 500. Yes, we have the worst division of all of Major League Baseball, but boys and girls, it can work miracle for the Tigers if they keep playing the type of ball they've been playing and pitching the way they should be pitching and just gutting it out. They should have a treat. Right now, we'll enjoy it because the long, hot summer hasn't got here yet. We'll see how things go. Miguel Cabrera, by the way, had an interview yesterday, and he said, and he was very boisterous about it, that he's not going to come in the starting lineup or any lineup until he is completely healthy. He admitted that many years that he's played with the Tigers, he has played hurt. He has not been 100%. He said, this time I'm 34 years old, and I just won't do it anymore. I'm going to wait till I'm 100% 100% where I can stay in the lineup, make a contribution, and not be a liability to the particular team that I'm on at this present time. So that's good for him to speak up, which me personally, could spoke up a long time ago. But again, sometimes you do things and you think you're helping someone. But then, yet again, when things don't work out, they talk about you like a dog. And Miguel Cabrera has felt those particular comments, media, fans, and he's not going to do it anymore. That sacrifice is just not worth it when it comes down to his health. And that's, again, good for him to come out with that particular statement here yesterday here with the media at large there. And being honest, I can't blame them at all. So the Tigers will continue to have their patchwork lineup involved. Hopefully they can do some damage today at Comerica Park. 1 o'clock is the game. The Detroit Pistons had the 5th worst record in the Eastern Conference during the reign of Stan Van Gundy's 4 seasons as head coach. This year they were in the lottery. Guess what, boys and girls? They were not successful. They were able to be picked 12th, which means that the Clippers of Los Angeles received their pick. So that deal of completing with Blake Griffin is over. Here's the order of the NBA draft determined Tuesday's lottery. Phoenix Suns, they get the first pick. The Sacramento Kings, the second. The Atlanta Hawks, the third. The Memphis Grizzlies, the fourth. The Dallas Mavericks, the fifth. Orlando Magic, sixth. Chicago Bulls, seventh. Cleveland Cavaliers via the Brooklyn Nets, eighth. The New York Knicks, ninth. The Philadelphia 76ers via the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, they get the 10th pick. The Charlotte Hornets, the 11th pick. The L.A. Clippers via the Detroit Pistons, I said, again, the 12th pick, and also they get the 13th pick as well. That's their own pick. The Denver Nuggets get the 14th pick. That's 1 through 14 of the liabilities of the NBA draft that was upcoming next month. Hey, be there or be square, huh? Okay. The Detroit Lions announced that they had signed free agent Dontel Alexander, tight end Marcus Lucas, and cornerback Josh O'Corn. Those contracts were not announced, but they're under the signing ropes. Also, the team announced that they waived wide receiver Kyle Lewis and waived injured tight end Brandon Barnes. Also, the Detroit Lions announced yesterday that they were awarded Adam Britsnowswick via the waivers from the New York Giants. They got a player from the Giants who Giants just got rid of in the camp. Detroit also announced that they have been awarded that particular pick. In addition, they have signed their third-round draft pick, number 82 overall in the draft, safety Tracy Walker, and they waived Britt Kendrick's offensive lineman. In addition, the Lions have done all these things for duty and humanity here, boys and girls. Duty and humanity. By the way, well, I'll now also give this, a kick in the head here. The Celtics beat up on LeBron James, although LeBron James got a triple-double, over 40 points. They lose. And in a couple of days, they'll go to Cleveland. They're behind 2-0. The Suns, again, I mentioned them. The Lightning playing hockey. They beat up on the Capitals last night in Washington. They cut that deficit from 2-1. So they finally got a game in doubt there for that particular series. We're talking about hockey, that is, here. Tonight, the Knights will play Winnipeg in Las Vegas. That ought to be something to look forward to. That series is tied up 1-1, and also we got the Warriors in the National Basketball Association playoff ramifications. They'll be in Houston playing the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are leading that series 1-2 zip. Yep, yepper. Get back to baseball here. Robinson Cano said he never used PEDs. Now, I want to ask you, do you believe him or not? If you believe him or not, Major League Baseball has suspended Robinson Cano for 80 games for violations of the Major League Baseball joint drug agreement and testing positive for a banned substance. Major League Baseball announced on Tuesday afternoon it's effective immediately. He will not be paid while on suspension. That means he loses about $12 million of his $24 million salary this particular season. Now, there is a particular problem. As you know, Sunday, Robinson Cano was hitting the wrist, and he would have been out 40 games or more because of the broken wrist. However, this suspension and also the broken wrist is going to be dealt with in concurrency. That means there's no penalty. Now, for instance, and this is where everybody is flambastly fluttered on this particular ruling here. If the doctors declared Robinson Cano in 45 days to be able to play again, many have said that's when his suspension should start. I can live with that, but it won't. It'll be served in concurrency. That means broken arm and every doggone thing, he'll be back to playing in August, late August. Now, for you boys and girls to get excited or not, if the Seattle Mariners tomorrow, and let's say if they everything was over as of tomorrow, and this suspension was all served up and everything, Robinson Cano could not be able to compete in the playoffs as per union rules and a joint agreement. He would not be able to participate at all in the playoffs or the World Series. So he will lose out greatly on that, including the Seattle Mariners, who signed this guy for 10 years and over $200 million in some smackers, won't get the services of the man they're building this team around. Isn't that lovely, boys and girls? Think about it. And I'm quite sure Major League Baseball in the offseason and those winter meetings will look at this particular ruling and come up with a better idea, because as right now, many are saying this is not too cool. This guy can sit on down, mend his arm where he got hurt on Sunday. He gets 3 days of workman's comp. But yet now he's cut off. Now, and I'm going to say this, boys and girls, too, just to make this decent. I'm quite sure Robinson Cano, before they let the general public know, which is Major League Baseball, had already let him know on Monday that he is caught or he was tested positive for the particular. So they already knew. So as far as the workman's comp is concerned, you can flush that down the toilet. He just got cut off. And I'm quite sure they told him also, although you can come back in August, you will not be able to compete in World Series play. You will not can be signed up on the lineup for the playoffs or the World Series. That's if Seattle goes anywhere. So they, like the Tigers, are going to have to do without their main particular, which is Robinson Cano. Funny that it comes up that way, but it did. What can we do about it? Not a doggone thing here, boys and girls, huh? Not a thing. In the meanwhile, while we're talking about gambling, the government or the federal judges stated the fact that it was illegal for everybody to stop states from being able to collect money for betting against teams, just like they do in Las Vegas. So the other 48 states now have the opportunity to look at their doggone budgets and look at the way they do business. And New Jersey, if it was set up and that ruling has been given, they may be ready next month to do this. I mean, bet on teams or the playoffs or NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association. They'll be able to bet on that. They don't have to just bet on horses. They don't have to bet on golf tournaments, which all this goes on over in the UK every day. They bet on soccer, or should they say football over there. You know? A lot of thinking going on. I know the governor of Michigan is not for it. He's going to look into it very seriously. I'm quite sure a lot of the other legislatures are going to do it. Each state, that if they commit gambling in their state to bet on teams, along with some other things, will make around about $22 billion a year. In the case of Michigan, they say that money will go to schools and the roads. Now, many have said, we let the lottery, and the only reason we let the lottery and voted for that is because they said all that money would go to schools, but most of the schools are undernourished, especially public schools, or schools that are not the choice of maybe government officials in the state. I know Detroit's a mess. Some schools are decked up pretty good, like Cass Tech, maybe Renaissance. Some other schools, a few, But a lot of the schools that are older need some fixing up, smart boards put into place, and other utensils and things going on. Sports has been undernourished. Extracurricular activity where a student can get a balance is not really affected in Detroit at all. And that's been a major sore spot on why so many kids, or parents, per se, move their kids out of Detroit and go to the suburbs because they offer a little bit more, even chess clubs and all kind of activities. Some of those cities don't have a big-time recreational center. And I say Detroit recreational department is undernourished as well. Yes, it is. I'm just going to say it. And they know it's true. So they got a lot of catching up to do as well. But we'll see how this gambling situation on sports kind of filtrate through the United States and cities and states and see what happens. It could be a real big thing, it could be a real little thing, or it could be nothing at all. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, boy. That kind of winds up our show, Butch On Sports. I watched the WWE last night on SmackDown, and kind of weird because they're doing all this picking for the Money in the Bank situation there. And it's going to be another 6 weeks before this particular event occurs. And they're already picking up championship matches at best, especially on Raw with the women, as NBC announced their lineup on Monday. And they had the WWE there, which is part of the USA Network, which is part of NBC. Something tells me that NBC is going to get back into wrestling again here. Those Saturday night specials. Who knows? Who knows, indeed. That's just sports, the way it ought to be. Quick notice there, and I'm going to mention it right now. starting tomorrow, track regionals in the state is going to crank on up throughout the state, and also lacrosse. It's going to be cranking up in their regionals and championship plights for the state of Michigan ramifications. Next week, there'll be several more. They'll be starting their playoffs and whatnot there. I know baseball has a lot of catching up to do, and a lot of doubleheaders are going to be played in that particular for the young men, and softball for the young ladies there because of the inclement weather, along with the Upper Peninsula, who still was digging out of snow, and the Lower Peninsula, who right now is flooded with a whole heck of a lot of rain, and therefore have to cut grasses, get fields all set, make sure that you don't kind of sink in the mud, and etc. So we'll see, and we'll kind of report on that as it go along. Now, the schedule for Butch On Sports is as follows, where we'll probably do a Saturday or Sunday Butch On Sports. Okay? Until we get all set up and do our regular scheme of things here from Tuesday to Saturday, or the special edition always on Saturday that we'll pop on in there for certain occasions. But our next broadcast of Butch On Sports, the podcast edition, definitely will be on Saturday or Sunday here. Kind of take a listen there. You can catch Butch On Sports on, Facebook. Yes, go to Facebook and catch Butch On Sports. Just type in Butch On Sports and go to Facebook, and you can find the podcast. Or, and be a member, or hook on up with me, and I'll be a member. I'll give you a little perk there. Give me a like, and hey, listen to it on that form. Or you can go to iTunes and listen to Butch On Sports. Or how about Podomatic, my page on Podomatic, Butch On Sports. Just type in SIMPLYBUTCHTOO.podomatic.com. That page is ready, set, and to go for a podcast and all the latest information that I can get you quick, fast, in a hurry. And there's going to be some improvements on the websites. And it's also on the Podomatic page. We're going to kind of strengthen that particular there in the upcoming months and during the summer. But right now, go to Podomatic and get that. Also, Podbean. You can look at The Game. Scott Nason, host of The Game. And, of course, yours truly is part of that particular ensemble there, along with Dave McCaig and E.J. Russell. Yes, hey, we can do some things there. Go to Podbean and type in The Game and listen to the podcast on that particular one, which you get Dave McCaig's show at Boston Pizza, and also the Sports Center Lounge up in Sault Ste. Marie, and also our show, The Game, that I'm part of there, with Scott Nason and those two fellows that I just mentioned, E.J. Russell and also Dave McCaig. Hey, Wednesday is a good day here, so you can go to Podbean and type in The Game, and you get all those good stuff there. Hey, I am out of time here, boys and girls. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast there. Tell your friends, get Butch on Sports alike on Facebook here. I'm done. Butch On Sports is a presentation of My Darling Productions. Have I gave you enough of my voice here? We'll be back either Saturday or Sunday, boys and girls. Again, have a great, great day. It's going to be 80 degrees, so, hey, catch it, at least down here in southeast Michigan here. Do it, and go Tigers.